Welcome back to the White Noise Podcast. I'm Ethan, joined by Goldilocks Gav.
What's up?
And as always, Jacob behind the glass.
That's me.
Wow, look at that. Gang's back together. When was the last time we were together?
I have not seen Gavan here in feels like 3 weeks.
I was going to say about 3 weeks, nearly a month.
Look at that. Who would have thought? It's a whole reunion. We'll have
Original
to get used to it. It's been a
Threesome?
Trio, trifecta.
Golden trio.
That's what you want to call it. Whatever makes you feel better.
Threesome.
Talking about during the show, not after.
Oh, sorry.
My bad.
Yeah, it's been a rough a crazy couple of weeks, the past few weeks with all the different guests and changes of personnel, but
Been fun.
Shut up, Paul.
shout out
Brett.
Paul and Brett. Yeah, it's been great. Gavin, what have you been up to?
Work and school.
That sounds fun.
And then, once a day, get to take a break and come over here. Once
Once
a
a
week.
day.
Once a day. Yeah, I'm over here at least once a day.
Awesome. How great is that? Jake, what have you been up to?
Working, a lot of sulking because of
Same.
a particular Disney Plus show,
Look at that little.
which we'll get into.
We'll get into that. And just before we get into that, though,
I don't
I
think so.
I forgot to edit out the part where I said that I was going to switch to me and Jacob in the future reviewing Kenobi because I thought I already edited it out, but I don't know because I cut out a big chunk. And I thought it was in that chunk, but it wasn't. So very unfortunate.
Well, you cut that out.
Well, you cut that out. So my apologies for the people that thought they missed something.
The future is now.
This is the future. And when I said, "Hey Jacob, you want to record the Kenobi review?" He said, "No, I'm too upset about it right now."
I was really bummed. I still am. We'll get into it.
It was
I'll get worked up. It's fine.
unfortunate
Fortunate.
series of events. But yeah, it's great.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Yep.
All right, let's get it started in here. Woo! And we're back. Now, on to Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yes, sir.
a Disney Plus show. I have seen such a, which I think is odd, a split. I've actually seen more people like it than more people dislike it,
Yes.
which is kind of frustrating because
That
I really didn't like it.
I think that's what's making me the most upset because I wasn't satisfied with it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed some parts. I did not enjoy some other parts, but overall, I wasn't satisfied. Left me wanting more, expected more, whatever. But the biggest part that upsets me is how a lot of people who are like critiquing it or giving their reviews are saying, yeah, it's flawed, but it's good. Like, they still like praise it or say like they loved it and it inspired them. It makes them want to watch the prequels again. But yeah, it could have been way better. I'm like, what? Then why are you saying focus on that part? It should have been.
I think
better.
there were a lot of issues.
That's what gets me worked up.
My takeaway of it was there were a lot of cool parts that were like very nostalgic, very cool to see.
By the way, this will be a little spoiler filled, I'm sure.
It'll be very spoiler filled. So we will have timestamps if you're listening on YouTube to skip ahead to get past the Kenobi review.
For those on Spotify, suffer.
Good luck.
Good luck. Suffer. So yeah, it was just I really enjoyed a lot of parts that were just really cool to see. It was cool to see Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen in the Vader outfit.
What little there was, yeah.
Like, that's the thing, though. That was a huge critique of, like, they had Hayden Christensen. They had Ewan McGregor. Why didn't they use them more with more scenes of them, more Hayden? Hayden Christensen was barely in it.
I think
that's like one of the things they pushed for fans
In the
to go watch
marketing,
it.
yeah.
Hayden in the marketing was all over it. He was in every single
It's a very Disney Star Wars thing to do.
commercial. Yeah.
I thought that motherfucker would have been the main character. Some shit.
It's a very Disney thing to do. They did it with Finn.
Yep.
They did it with Zendaya in Homecoming. She was barely in Homecoming, and they used her a lot in the marketing.
Cringe. Yeah, all of my, like, the biggest gripes I have with the show are like all the production aspects,
Mhm.
like the writing, the plot direction,
Yeah.
the all the all the side characters, stories that they focus so
Yeah.
much on, like
And that's
the costume design, like
music.
all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
The actual like Ewan's performance, him interacting with what he has, like, you know, what's actually written, like him using
Mhm.
the script, is he does a good job. The interactions with him and Hayden at the last episode,
Yeah.
that's about all there is. That stuff is fine, but like
Yeah. What I've said is, and we review movies, we review TV shows on here. We critique them pretty heavily. We know we enjoy them. It's our passion. So take the Star Wars out of the show, it's not a good show.
Nope.
Like, it's not just because it's Star Wars and all the continuity errors and all just messing up the legacy characters, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good show, and I think a lot of that comes from Disney and Lucasfilm hiring just anybody. Just,
Inadequate.
oh, let me look at this resume. Okay, you're hired. People who don't know Star Wars, people who don't really have a passion for the craft, they just want Star Wars on their resume, maybe.
Some of the best pieces of Star Wars that have come out recently are from people who love Star Wars, like
Mhm.
Dave Filoni,
Jon Favreau.
Sam Witwer
Yeah.
is huge. I love him.
Yeah.
He voices Darth Maul in the animated series.
He was Star Killer, right?
Star Killer. He voiced Star Killer in the Force Unleashed games. Like, he does a lot of voice
I
acting.
knew I recognized that
He
damn voice.
looks just like him,
yeah,
too.
I was saying,
Yeah.
I fucking knew I recognized him.
So I love him anytime he's in anything. So it really
That's
sucks.
the thing. None of them were attached to the show at all, especially someone like Dave Filoni, who's worked with those characters in the Clone Wars, had nothing to do with the show. We talked about the writer not even knowing anything happening in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face for people
It's just
to put this together for fans that are so passionate about it and not really give any careful thought to it, you know?
and then people just overlook all that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it could have been better, but I really liked it. Which
What's
is fine. If you really enjoyed it and you liked it, that's great. I said before this show even came out, like, I don't have any expectations. I don't like to get hung up on like the release or like when it's coming out and anticipating it a lot. I just want to sit down and watch it. So I usually, like, in the moment, I don't critique anything or like analyze everything in my head as I'm watching the show. But this show, Kenobi, took me out of that to where I was finding myself doing that because just all the gripes that we talked about, like the setting, like on Tatooine, there was no aliens. It was all just people, humans dressed up, zero
Yeah, I
aliens.
didn't
When,
notice that.
in A New Hope, they showcase like the Cantina bar. It's aliens left and right. They got the band playing. They got, big lizard people taking drinks and laughing with each other. That's the scene when Ben and Luke go in and meet Han Solo and Chewbacca. That's the entire setup, the alien bar. And then, Phantom Menace, when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are fixing the ship and they're walking around Tatooine, there's all these huge, beast carrying stuff. Jawa's walking around. Sebulba attacks Jar Jar Binks because of like this crazy fish thing. Like, that's all missing in this show. So, I mean, it feels like if the three of us were to get a cast together of everybody and just go out into the desert and film some snippets.
And that's from the critiques I have seen.
From money in
about
our
it.
pockets. Yeah. And like everybody's like, yep, this could have been better, but it looks good. Yeah, no, this is good Star Wars.
That's a huge critique I've seen too, is just overall it felt like a fan film. Like with even the lightsaber scenes, like the Corey scene when Vader and Obi-Wan first meet. It's with Vader too, is he had a lot of cool, like, intimidating Vader scenes, but he also had a lot of scenes where it's like, that doesn't seem like Vader. He was inconsistent throughout. They're not supposed to give Vader an arc because he's already had his arc, so he's supposed to be just this brutal villain.
Yeah, exactly, which is why I think the direction of this entire plot line, like Obi-Wan being called into action to save young Leia, is the whole show pretty much. I don't think that's a good premise for this Kenobi show. For the in-between Revenge of the Sith, New Hope, they should have told this kind of story of like Obi-Wan's, how downtrodden he is and his like redemption into becoming Ben Kenobi. Should have been told through like more flashbacks, like the interaction with him and Anakin, as Hayden and Ewan from the prequels. I didn't find myself enjoying the story they were telling about, rescue Leia again, escape Reva. Oh,
Yeah.
escape Reva again.
I think the show, because with Obi-Wan, there's only so much you can do with the character because of and that's just the characters in general. There's only so much you can do with them because of already what's been established, which is why you should take more care in the writing, because you have to go through all these hoops and these backflips.
Half-handedly.
But I feel like they didn't even consider that. And I think they could have done a better show if they made like a Vader show with Ewan McGregor in it and have that Obi-Wan interaction.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole show is unnecessary, so it needed to be really good for it to dignify its existence.
So here was one of the problems that I had.
Get closer.
Oh, here's one of the problems that I had. Force users can sense each other, can't they?
If you're basing your opinion off just the Kenobi show alone, be cautious. But
Well, no, like
theoretically, yes.
even using like the prequels and then using sequels when Yoda's there is
I'm
another.
just like, what's your question?
Oh, okay, because the part where again didn't watch the whole show, but I watched the last episode.
Right.
Reva survived by hiding underneath the bodies of Jedi, right? Or
Yeah,
the
that's what she
younglings?
said. Yeah,
Wouldn't Anakin have sensed her?
Yeah, he could have. He should have.
So like, wouldn't he just killed her right there?
Well, that's a whole inconsistency with Reva in general, is that she survived getting stabbed twice. Once as a child, and then I think it wasn't really in character for Vader to just stab her again and walk away.
Yep, that's it.
When someone standing next to him just got stabbed and is alive in the same spot. And yeah, you can make the argument that he has two stomachs, but that's never mentioned in the show, so the casual viewer won't even know that.
They should make that apparent, like, oh, he's got two stomachs. But like they throw in like a throwaway line where it's like, what does he say? Like, revenge will do wonders for the will to live, or something like that. So I mean, you could like infer that Reva and the Grand Inquisitor both wanted their revenge against Reva to Vader, Grand Inquisitor to her, and that kept them alive. But it's like, so don't be so vague about it if that's what you're trying to get at.
Wasn't that what kept Maul alive?
Yeah, and
they did that really well.
that really well in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, true.
How he's like delirious and psychotic
wants
and
to kill Kenobi.
he's not in his right mind.
Yeah.
He's just like whispering under his breath, like Kenobi, Kenobi, as he's like just lost his mind. He's not even Maul anymore.
Such a cool character.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
The only thing that took me out of it is even though with the fight scenes and stuff, it's like, I don't know, there was no weight for me in the fight scenes. Because it's like, oh, I know Vader's going to live. I know Obi-Wan's going to live.
Not even that.
Even when Reva takes Luke, I'm like, oh no, when are they going to get him back? Because we got like 20 more minutes left.
Yeah, exactly.
I know he's a New Hope.
So that's on the writer's part, because it's like, Reva's not going to kill Luke.
Yeah.
You know that for a fact. Why do they make it like it's going to happen?
There's no tension anywhere in the show. There was at no point where I was just like, oh no, how are they going to make it out? Like the premise is not there.
There hasn't been a good lightsaber fight in Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you can't say the throne room in Last Jedi because that was horribly choreographed.
I wasn't going to say that one.
Okay. Well, you're thinking and you
one
can't
in
think
mind?
of any.
I thought I was thinking of the Mandalorian.
Their lightsaber fight? No.
Not lightsaber, but
Luke destroying the Dark Troopers?
no, I was thinking of more like
The Dark Saber
versus Moff Gideon. With Mando versus Moff Gideon.
He was using a spear, and Moff Gideon had a
Closest we're
the
gonna
dark
get.
blade,
Closest we're gonna
But
get.
it still wasn't.
the dark saber.
To be fair, neither of them were.
Can't compare it to Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
Well, another argument I heard for the sequel trilogy is that when it comes to Finn and Rey, they weren't really trained.
Doesn't
Kylo, on the other hand,
matter.
should have been cool. But
yeah.
again, not making an excuse there, but all the rebuttals I've heard is that Anakin and Obi-Wan trained from birth versus Rey, who had 10 minutes with Luke.
You can still do great fight. It's not even about training.
It was just an excuse to make up the shitty fighting.
What's
I get
the
it.
excuse?
I'm not.
No, I get it. A lightsaber is basically weightless. It's just the weight of the hilt. And in the sequel trilogy, they're swinging around like baseball bats and
They're doing that in Obi-Wan Kenobi too.
It's just.
I will mention that's what I did not like about the fight with Vader.
Yeah,
He
they're
fought
he fought like the sequels. These guys are trained in the lightsaber and the Jedi arts, but they're fighting like how Rey and Finn fought.
The only thing I can't wrap my head around is that Vader kills a fuck ton of people. One of the most current powerful people that can wield his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he move so fucking clunky?
because of the
He's
suit.
robotic.
I get that part, but
I
mean,
actually don't have a problem with the fight scenes, like choreography itself, because I don't want it to be about that. Like, I'm not expecting the flips and turns like that was in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the first fight in episode 3, when it's like the fucking construction zone fight.
Yeah.
The setting is horrible, but like
that's what made it look like even more like a fan film.
They didn't tell a story with the fight scenes. Like, if the whole thing of like, why did Vader let him go? He could have crossed the fire, whatever. They need to portray that better in the fight. Like, the Darth Vader's like calling him weak, like disappointed that how weak Obi-Wan's become, and they don't show that at all. Like, if they just showed Vader like easily disarming Obi-Wan and like pushing him back and letting him get up and like letting him get his saber, even like giving his saber to him, like, get up and fight me, and then like letting him go because he's so disappointed and he wants to fight him again. Like, they don't show that. They don't tell any of that story. It's just, oh, they're fighting. Here's this random, really wide view, and then a random, really close-up shot.
Yeah,
like,
I had a problem with the cinematography too.
It's just it's a culmination of directing, writing, everything coming together that just, it took me out of it in a way I've never experienced watching anything. Like a Marvel movie, Star Wars, anything. I usually don't find myself disliking something until I've thought about it, until I've processed everything.
Yeah.
But in Kenobi, I was just like, I was struggling watching the finale because of just how everything was hitting me. It was bad. Oh.
Yeah.
So overall,
I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Me too.
I'm willing to compromise to 4.5.
well, okay,
Maybe
so
5.
we got a lot of stuff you didn't like, but what did you like about it?
I really liked the ending, like Ewan and Hayden with the cut mask, everything to get to that point. I don't regard, but like the interaction,
You didn't
him
kill
leaving him.
Anakin.
You didn't
I thought
kill.
that was cool.
You didn't kill Anakin. I did.
Yeah.
That stuff's cool.
Him calling him Darth, I thought that was a nice touch.
Anakin's cry for Obi-Wan.
The distorted voice.
I liked the prequel duel, like stuff like the de-aging. I don't have a huge problem with.
So
that was a big gripe. Like, oh, Hayden looks super old.
well, here's the thing with me.
I can overlook
Here's
that
the thing
kind
with,
of stuff.
Here's the thing with me.
It's so easy to do.
I know that's my problem. Is we've talked on the show many times about like CGI stuff and how you guys, or Gavan especially, is really a stickler for the CGI, like in Moon Knight's costume or Moon Knight in general. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I can always look past that.
Yeah.
For some reason, in the de-age, like with Hayden Christensen, I was like, it's the fact that it's so easy to do that someone did it the same day the episode came out and it looked so much better. It just shows
and that's why I am a stickler for it.
It
shows
it shows the lack of care. It shows the lack of care.
Saying, oh, I love this show. It's so good. Like giving it like, they're saying, I love it. This is so good. But it could have been better. Like 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10. I'm like, why? I've seen both of like the de-aging duel and the original one that they released, and I like both. When I first saw the scene, I was like, this is awesome. This is cool. This is what should be the show. This is the 5th episode. Yeah. And they're barely doing this.
And when it comes to effects, I could forgive Moon Knight because A, nobody fucking knows who the hell Moon Knight is.
That's
B, and that's whatever, but this is Star Wars.
That's why I am so pissed off about it. Is it's not even just like a throwaway show.
No, it's Kenobi.
Not the fact like
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm going to compare it to Andor, the show that's coming out in August.
This was stuff like we're talking about Andor having this stuff. Maybe, but
you're dealing Diego Luna from Rogue One, the guy in Rogue One, making a show about him.
Who also we know how his thing ends.
Fuck! Why do they keep doing this?
See, nobody asks for it.
Why the fuck do they keep doing that? But
here's the thing: people are gonna like that show a lot more because they don't have such a huge attachment to the character,
and because it actually might be good.
Yeah, I'm more excited. I have more hope that Andor is gonna be better than Kenobi.
I'm only excited because I want to see the robot. I forgot his name, but
K2SO.
Cool. Yeah, I want to see him.
He's an Imperial security droid that was turned to the rebellion.
That's cool. But yeah, with Kenobi, it's important characters that people are passionate about, and they don't treat them with any care.
Yep.
They don't treat the show at all with any care.
Yep.
It's a bad show. Take the Star Wars out, it's still a bad show.
Yep.
And that's my consensus. That's my quote is, it's a bad show. Take the Star Wars out. It's still a bad show. And it sucks because I feel like it's a theme with Disney Plus shows of the first episode being like, okay, I like it where it's going. Everything in between, ugh.
And then the last show,
the last one kind of
patching everything together, throws in the cool parts.
Kenobi was really bad to patch things up.
And I don't think I elaborated more on your question, Gavin, like what I liked.
We just went back to not liking it.
Sorry. I liked seeing Ian McDermott as Darth Sidious, Palpatine again. That was cool. I was not expecting that. I was just like, whoa. Qui-Gon Jinn finally showing up at the very end.
For like 10 seconds. He said 2 lines.
He cashed in that check. That was the easiest check he's ever gotten.
Yep.
What did Liam Neeson said? Yeah, he was totally down to do it. He didn't want anyone else to be Qui-Gon Jinn. That was his reasoning.
Good. Nobody else should be. I mean,
also, isn't there like huge talk that Kenobi's gonna get a season 2 as well?
Yep. And that's the huge thing is like, there's no, because you're dealing with the frame. You're dealing with 9 years. You're dealing with where they ended the show, and where A New Hope picks up. You're dealing with that time frame, and it's like there's only so much you can do. And I don't want to see him going off Tatooine again. I don't want to see him doing all that when he's supposed to be a guardian over Luke, like in Rebels, like Sam Witwer.
Yep.
When he was talking about Maul's death, and talking about how Obi-Wan is a Jedi Master on guard, on a duty, watching Luke.
Yep.
It's leave Kenobi alone. Leave him on Tatooine. Don't ruin it anymore between Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness. I got it right the first time.
Season 2, realistically, Obi-Wan can't leave Tatooine ever again. He knows what's going to happen if he does. Also, huge plot hole. Reva uses Leia to have Bail Organa call out to Obi-Wan, right? That's her plan.
Correct.
Now the Empire knows Bail Organa knows Obi-Wan. That would immediately, get this man,
Also, isn't Obi-Wan supposed to be fucking laying low?
Yep.
Exactly.
Kind of defeats
That's what I'm saying. The whole premise of this show is just...
That's another kind of throwaway thing, too, of Palpatine being like, oh, you're a little obsessed with your master, like your old master. Like, you should probably forget about it.
Hey, man, we're trying to build a Death Star here.
And then Vader's like, okay, yeah, he's gone.
You're right. He means nothing to me.
Oh. If one of the Jedi Masters that survived Order 66, let him go.
One of the greatest Jedis, yeah.
They could have redeemed a little bit if, at that part, I was 10% of me was expecting, Starkiller to come walking in.
10%? That's a lot of percent.
That would have been fun.
That would have been cool. Sick.
Starkiller TV show win? Oh, never.
Make him canon.
That would make it like a fun Disney.
That's too fucking cool for Disney.
I was going to say, that'd make a cool Disney thing, and they just don't want to do that. It's not in their plans.
They're doing Andor.
Yeah. Y'all want to Leia origin story?
The BB-8 show.
BB-8 show.
That would actually, I'd be a little excited for
Star
that.
Wars Resistance season 4. I have no idea.
There's 3 seasons already
of that. There's 2.
What?
There's 2.
What's Star Wars Resistance?
It's the Clone Wars, but it's the sequels.
Yes.
It's the Resistance, like Poe and everything. It's the Clone Wars, but it's
animated.
Yes.
Poe's in it.
Yeah, they're all in it.
I've never seen it.
I have never heard
Clone
of it.
Wars and Rebels.
No, yeah, I know.
Downgrade the animation. There you go.
And Rebels is already downgraded from Clone Wars.
Well, Rebels is at least tolerable.
Yeah.
But they went back to 2D kid drawings for Resistance, so it just.
Oh, it's 2D. Okay.
But I liked Rebels. Rebels was cool.
All right, man.
We didn't even talk about Reva, but
no.
Why would you?
Exactly.
Why would you?
Her character could have been better if they just told us her motivations up front.
Yep.
They waited 5 episodes for us, just hating her, and then give us her motivation, and it's like, oh.
Here's a lesson in writing Disney writers. You can tell the audience something, and the other characters can still not know about it.
Yeah, we learned that in D&D. Your characters can have secrets, and the players can know, as long as the characters don't know.
I just didn't like the whole, I changed my mind after 5 episodes of this shit. I'm going to not do what I've been trying to do forever.
My biggest problem was she's like, am I Vader? I'm like,
nope.
How does that make you Vader? You couldn't kill one kid, which if you killed him would benefit Vader.
Yep.
I don't know. Whatever.
Got a kick in the head.
Get out of here.
Yep.
And I have what is it called? I have no problem with the actress. I actually feel bad for her.
Yeah,
she got handed a shit character, just like John Boyega.
It's also she's not a Star Wars fan either, so she's getting all this hate from Star Wars fans, and she's not even a Star Wars fan.
Why the fuck did she take the role?
Exactly, because it's money. It's free money. It's the easiest money you'll ever make.
True.
You get to be a shitty character, and you just get paid.
And season 2 means you get to come back. Fuck.
Yeah.
Easy as shit.
Exactly.
She's gonna show up in The Mandalorian.
Plus, she's gonna get her own spin-off show.
Plus, let's be honest. Even if you didn't like Star Wars, would you pass up a role to be in Star Wars?
Hell no, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
If somebody came to me and was like,
but at that point, that's when I would kind of dive into Star Wars and make sure I get it right because I know how the fan base is.
Yeah, you would think.
Rated R Stormtrooper TV show?
That'd be sick.
Rated R.
Rogue
that'd
One.
Be awesome.
Rogue One should have been rated R. Changed my mind.
Like a war movie, but with stormtroopers.
I want to see a show where it's like the stormtroopers' perspective, but it's not like Battlefront 2, where it's like I don't want it to be like, oh well, we need to join. I want a fucking bad stormtrooper that's just like, let's just do all the bad shit we can, irredeemable anti-hero type of story. Because Battlefront 2 started out with that story where it was like you play as a stormtrooper right after the second Death Star blows up, and the whole story is her slowly turning against the Empire and going into the rebellion. And I'm like, I want people that are like not ashamed of what they did for the Empire. I want them to see as the rebels as the bad guys. They're like, these are the terrorists killing all their friends.
In Bad Batch, they do a little bit of that, where like because the Bad Batch are clones, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the inhibitor. They don't have.
Or it's defective.
It's defective. They get it taken out really early, so they're not under the influence of Order 66. So they go rogue, but one of their members is like die hard at Empire, like I'm following orders, so he like becomes the bad guy. And then it's like right after Order 66, so like the Empire's like they're doing like all this installation on every planet, and they're like putting in their structure everywhere. So it kind of shows a little bit of that.
Well, it's just like,
they get an order to like kill civilians, and this guy's like, "Yep, sure."
I don't know. My husband or my wife or whatever was on the Death Star, and the rebels just fucking blew it up. I want to kill all the rebels now.
Yes, that'd be sick.
Here's the thing too: of the Empire has so much reach and so much control and so much influence. It's like
propaganda.
Why don't you make something that to kind of be like, oh, that's how people support the Empire. Or, oh, that's why you're fighting for the Empire. Show us the pros.
Disney's never going to do that. They're always going to allude to, just like George Lucas, they're going to keep the Empire as like
a bad
Nazis influence, like they're bad guys, rebels good guys. And they're going to treat you like an idiot, and you can't think.
Which, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's fine if you're telling that story.
Like, the Empire is bad guys. Yeah, they're blowing up planets. However...
Show us how they have so many people.
Yeah. Because they're
how army. People support this or let this happen. How is not the entire galaxy just joining the rebellion?
Well, somebody told me that, all the stormtroopers are just clones. And I'm like, I swear to God, all the stormtroopers are people that were like, yo, I want to be in the Empire.
They're recruited.
I was like, let
Han Solo joined the Empire because he wanted to get off planet, but he did join the Empire.
Well, then I think some point in the sequels they make it to where you're kidnapped as a kid and then thrown in. But
that was First Order,
which
is different.
The remnants of the Empire is what they call it.
They had
title crawl.
Palpatine had special orders in place for if you.
How did he survive?
Somehow.
Kathleen Kennedy ran out of ideas.
Gosh.
Halfway through Force Awakens script, they're like, "Fuck, what do we do?"
Halfway through Force Awakens. No, it was much later. It was the end of Last Jedi. They're like, "Fuck, what do we do?"
No.
Palpatine, Lando. Get them in here. Nostalgia.
So I saw an interview, or I read an interview of Harrison Ford. People asking him, like, was Han Solo a Force ghost at the end of Rise of Skywalker? He said, I don't know. I don't care.
Exactly, yeah.
You asked the one person in that fucking entire cast that could not care less about Star Wars.
Literally.
A question about Star Wars lore.
That's so funny.
He probably would have been like, who the fuck is
Han
Han Solo?
He only agreed to do Force Awakens because he was guaranteed to die.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, fine, I'll do it.
How'd they convince him to come back to Rise of Skywalker?
Who knows, bro?
That's a lot of money.
A lot of zeros.
All right, that's enough of Kenobi. So let's get on to something a little bit more spicy.
Oh, baby. That was bad. My bad.
Gavin and I watched Elvis earlier this week. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is a movie I was kind of really looking forward to. However, the movie's just a little better than okay, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm like the opposite. I fucking love this movie. I'd go see it again.
We're not going to give too much away. My stickler was Austin Butler was great. Performances were great. Music was great. I just wasn't a fan of the editing and how the story was told. It was very jumpy and back and forth, very choppy. It kept jumping from time period to time period to time period to time period. Really, like 20 times in 15 minutes.
I did hate how like the narrator was the person we're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
And they were kind of almost trying to seem like he wasn't the bad guy.
Exactly.
I'm like,
he seemed like the bad guy from the beginning.
Yeah. It's like the moment someone goes like, oh, they think I'm the bad guy. I'm like, I automatically think you're the bad guy considering you're trying so hard to prove
He is
that you're
stereotypical bad guy. He's a heavy-set guy with a fedora and a cigar and a cane.
And he's greedy.
And he has a
Gambling
European
addiction.
accent.
Anyway, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 75.
I'm giving it an 87. 87?
Okay.
Good
my main part review is I wouldn't have as much a problem with it if they just changed the title to The Man Who Made Elvis, because there was a lot of Tom Hanks in it for a movie about Elvis. And Tom Hanks playing Elvis's manager, which the movie was about how the manager just screwed him over. So they should have called it The Man Who Made Elvis instead of Elvis. I feel like we didn't get enough Elvis. That was my whole thing of like wanting more of Austin Butler's performance and more of him acting as Elvis.
Not to mention Elvis, the title was already taken. They did another 70s. I think it was in the 70s they did a movie. They just called it Elvis too.
Elvis.
So could have called it just another name.
The Man Who Made, they could have called it anything. But I really enjoyed it.
We'll be back in about 50 years when they redo the movie again.
Yeah. This is a cool question, I guess. What musician or person in pop culture that has passed away or something would you want a movie made about? Like kind of like a Bohemian Rhapsody or an Elvis or a Rocket Man type movie.
Fuck, I don't know.
Kurt Cobain.
That'd be very, very tragic.
Oh no.
Oh mama.
I don't know. I
Good
feel
question.
like all the artists I would want already do have movies. About
Does
them.
Michael Jackson have a movie like that?
I'm 100% willing to bet. There's no way he doesn't.
I can't think of one. That's the thing. Like I would.
That's
love to
that's
see.
why I don't want to say one because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like
There was
7
one done
movies.
like a while ago.
I know the This Is Us
It.
or This
I don't
Is
know
It.
if Prince has one.
Was that when he was still alive or?
No, it's right after he died,
2009, yeah.
and it was a documentary type. I'm talking about like a high cast
Like
an actor
about
to play
him.
Michael Jackson
I'd like one for
and
Prince.
about him.
I don't think Prince won. I feel like I would know if a Prince one existed outside of like just a documentary.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see like Michael Jackson's story from like, childhood to growing up and
I
seeing
just
how they
don't
do
know
that.
if they could do that because there's a lot of controversy around
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. That too.
But
So, which you would think with all the shit that Elvis did, there would be a lot of controversy around him. But
well, it was much longer ago, so maybe in 30 years we'll have a Michael Jackson movie.
Yeah, maybe.
okay, I can understand.
No, I felt bad for Elvis just because how dirty he got done.
He did.
I said that weird, I think.
That's what happens. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't be a rock star, kids. The boy did have drip, though.
He did. He did. Man, inspired an entire outfit for people for generations to come that are still replicating it to this day. And
Awesome. But yeah, if you haven't seen Elvis, I still recommend watching it. I want to know what you guys think. If you have seen it, leave a comment down below of your thoughts. Just because I feel like I'm the only one who has a lot of these criticisms towards it, even though I really like Elvis. But yeah, that's Elvis for you. And now we're gonna get to a quick announcement. So I mentioned this last week. Me and Paul, friend of the show, are starting another podcast called The Old Fashioned Podcast. It's going to be starting up here in the next few weeks, and there's an Instagram for it, The Old Fashioned Pod, if you want to give that a follow for all the updates. And once we start posting and start the recording and all that. But I'm really excited for what's to come of it. And if you want to know what it's about, here it is. As it stands right now, the Old Fashioned Podcast is where we discuss important life topics with different perspectives from guests we'll bring on, as well as our own point of views. The premise began with how to become the best version of yourself, and we intend to grow throughout the show, so it's only natural that the podcast will evolve as time goes on. And it'll be me and Paul. It'll be great. It'll be very different from the White Noise, so you'll have 2 different shows. If you like one better than the other, if you want to watch both of them, then you'll have a little bit of little bit of variety. So we expect the first episode to be released the second week of July, or that second Sunday of July. So be on the lookout for that. It will be video recorded too, so you'll be able to see mine and Paul's face. Unfortunately, sorry about that, but I think it'll help with engagement, and we'll see how that goes, and maybe White Noise will move on to video as well.
Whoa!
So you'll get to see Gavin's beautiful face.
Put on some pants.
Gavin will have to keep his shirt on. You'll be able to see Gavin's facial reactions that we keep talking about. Unfortunately. But yeah, the Old Fashioned Pod, go check that out on Instagram. It's just Old Fashioned Pod. And while you're there, go check out OEF Studios and OEF White Noise. Give us a follow there. Interact with us. Leave a comment. Send a message. Gavin will respond. He loves responding.
Nice. Oh, yeah, I do.
And let's get to the movie review. All right. The movie of the week this week was Spiderhead.
Correct.
What did you think of it, Gavin?
Looking at the reviews and stuff, I don't know. I did have a little bit of like, oh, this movie's not going to be that good type of vibe. But honestly, I liked this film. I don't understand too much why everybody hated it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny because the critics actually gave it a higher rating than the audience scored it for the most part.
Which never really happens unless it's
like super high.
Yeah.
But this was low, so it's like, wow. And even Google users and other review sites had it low. So obviously it's widely unliked, I guess. Maybe we'll have to wait for Rotten Gems to review it so that way we can get their verdict on it.
Yeah,
Shout out, Brett.
I think Rotten Gems should check it out, see if it's worth it, but
I will say
I'm reading some of the reviews right now and I don't really agree with it.
I thought Chris Hemsworth as the villain was awesome. And for some reason people are saying, "Oh, this role was too big for him. He couldn't fill it too much." And
I thought he did.
I beg to differ.
It reminded me a lot, and I see a comment right here, of Ex Machina.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that. I really liked Ex Machina. I really liked this. Chris Hemsworth did amazing playing that kind of friendly villain. Like, from the start, you're like, this guy might be the villain, but he was super nice. You're like, oh, maybe he's not. Maybe there's something else going on, but I enjoyed his performance. I enjoyed Miles Teller's performance.
The beginning definitely...
It takes you a while to kind of understand what's going on, but I think that's part of the nature of it, especially with the whole drug experiments and stuff.
One thing I will agree with when it does come to some of the bad reviews is the movie was a little what's it called? It starts with a P. It's like when you predictable. There you go.
Predictable.
I mean, kind of tying back into what you said, like, oh, is he gonna be the villain? I knew like right away.
Yeah.
That I'm like, that's our villain right there. I didn't have a problem with it. I mean,
yeah.
You need a villain in this type of story. But I also knew that they were going to thwart him. I would have preferred, honestly, I was kind of like, for an ending that I would have wanted for Chris Hemsworth to be like, oh, Mark went to go get the authority. You mean this Mark right here? And like show Mark's fucking dead. And then it's like, nobody's coming for you, dude. Like,
yeah, you always like villains winning.
It's not even that, but if we're doing like a realistic type of movie here, like Mark should not have been so easily persuaded, or for somebody who has cameras everywhere, I feel like Chris Hemsworth should have been onto that.
I think so. That was something I noticed too, of like, he has cameras in the rooms. Why can't he see this?
And especially since he's so interested in Miles Teller's character, Jeff, you would think that he would be paying attention to when they're messing with his, what did they call it? The fucking thing they put the medicine in?
The pack something.
The pop pack or whatever. I don't know.
Pod pack.
It's not, but it's just, I don't know. I hate it when a villain is super smart and then just magically is dumb as shit for the plot to advance. Like, one thing I liked about Ex Machina is that the villain was outsmarted. And there were ways that the heroes outsmarted the villains, but here it was just like, you just didn't pay enough attention. For somebody who has cameras and ultimately in a fucking prison, ironically enough, did not pay enough attention and ultimately ended up being his downfall. And I think it would have been a more realistic and, in my opinion, more of an enjoyable ending if Chris Hemsworth had been like, oh yeah, nope, Mark is here, he's dead, don't worry, we're going to get rid of him. Yeah. oh, he got killed by an inmate. Simple as that. And then I'm going to overload your packs and just kill you because now you know too much.
I think that was also kind of out of character for Chris Hemsworth because, yeah, he was the villain, but it's not like he was intentionally, like, wanting to kill someone. He wasn't a murderer until the end. He kind of snapped a little bit, but I don't think...
Well, that's why
I don't think he would have that cold-blooded, like, oh, Mark's dead, like, I killed him. Like, that wasn't his character, but I can see where you're coming from with that critique. I overall enjoyed it. Like, yeah, you can pick at little nitpicks. I don't know why it was rated so low. I feel like it's the perfect movie for people to just watch and enjoy because it did have that kind of interesting take.
I can see why you would think that it wouldn't be in character for Chris Hemsworth or the villain. What the fuck was his name? Why do I keep saying Steve? Okay. Why do I keep calling it Chris Hemsworth? I can see why you would think it's not in character, but I mean, Steve is really willing to kill Jeff at the end there with the knife. Like,
well, that's at the end when he's like snapping, everything's slipping away.
Like when it's threatening him
killing Mark. Him killing Mark would have been very premeditated.
Well, I'm not saying he personally has to kill Mark, but like security grabs him or maybe throws him in the room and they fill him with the shit, and it's like, no, you're not going to. Or maybe he keeps him prisoner there. But I'm just saying for Mark to get away and Steve to not know what at all is going on.
That I can see that of just Chris Hemsworth's character's motivation and kind of just his arc, I guess, was inconsistent with him being buddy, but then him needing that kind of security.
You watched The Kingsman, right?
The
original one? Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson. Uh-huh. What I liked so much about that one is when they explode. Spoiler alert! When they explode the inhibitor or the chips or whatever. Yeah. You know, he's like, do you think I would put that in my own head? He does all these countermeasures, and it's like, oh, the only way you're killing him is just you gotta fucking do it. There's no outsmarting him to kill him. Mm-hmm. And I would have liked that to have been more Chris Hemsworth. Like, for instance, Jeff being able to activate his pack. And I was like, why would you allow the inmate here to do that?
It's showing the amount of trust, I think. Which here's my defense for it. Like, I can see the criticism, but my defense for it could be he has such a good relationship with the inmates and has that friendship level with all of them, the open door policy that he said, that he doesn't even see it as a problem of having him have the same device that can control like everyone's Moby pack.
Right. It's just, and then of course, you know, they had the pill where it's like, you're supposed to follow orders, all that, whatever. But I just, I don't know. For someone who's a genius, you would think you wouldn't allow the prisoners that are there for like murder to be able to access your level. I mean, it's stupid for you to really get high on your own supply to begin with, but don't give them the key. Like, it would have been cool if he had tried to do that, and then, you know, Steve turns around and goes, oh, what, did you think you can access? Do you think I would hand you the fucking remote control to me?
I can see that, too. That was my other criticism, is the violent criminals. Like, I don't think violent criminals who have, like, serial killer level criminals should have open door policy and that kind of level of friendship with the facility. That just seems like a glaring plot hole. But I enjoyed it. I liked it. 75% for me.
I'm going to give it a 70. I thought everything was enjoyable. I think Chris Hemsworth did a great job as a villain. I'm not saying it was his fault for not being a good villain. I'm just saying for a genius standpoint, like if we're supposed to believe this villain is a genius, it makes no sense for me for these types of events that led to his downfall to happen. If it was like he was high on drugs or whatever, and then this is how it happened, sure. But, I mean, he was sober when it happened, so it makes absolutely no sense to me that he got technically outsmarted by being ignorant.
Yeah, I enjoyed it all. I don't agree with the reviews. Rotten Tomatoes audience score is 30%.
Yeah, I don't think it was a terrible movie. That's like my only gripe with the movie is just that part.
The critic score is 41, so it is rotten. Wink, wink. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd probably watch it again.
Yeah, I would.
I think it's a cool premise, cool movie, and I loved the performance of Hemsworth and Teller. I've been watching a lot of Miles Teller movies recently. Over the past few months, I've seen War Dogs, Whiplash.
I have not seen Whiplash yet.
Great movie.
It's one that I like. Oh, I want to watch that movie, but I don't
think it was that long, was it?
2014, I think.
Well, no, I didn't think the movie. Like,
no, it was like an hour 40 or something.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about it being long.
Oh no, I just like.
Well, that's just that's what we always go to. It's a matter of we're in class. We have to watch a movie for school. We look at the runtime to see how much time it's going to take.
Yeah.
Put the playback speed onto 1.5.
Exactly. That's so funny though. That's what it is. I just yeah, Whiplash is really good. Miles Teller is an underrated actor, and I think him kind of breaking out in Top Gun
Maverick
is gonna give him even more roles and more recognition because he's always been flying under the radar. But he's done a great job. Yeah, 2014, and it's an hour and 46. So if you're worried about the runtime, Whiplash is an hour and 46.
Oh, good. Now I can watch it.
All right, that's the movie review. Next week, what are we watching, Gav?
All right, for next week, we're going to stir it up a little, and we're going to do Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop.
After we
Eddie
watch
Murphy.
the movie, we can go ahead and you'll get the joke that I just made there. But
Who's
reading past that.
All
It's
right.
Eddie Murphy, yeah.
Eddie Murphy. Okay, cool.
Eddie Murphy.
Like 1984?
Let me.
A
How many
while
aren't
back.
there like 3 of them?
About like at least 3 years
Beverly
ago.
Hills Chihuahua, right?
Nope.
Oh, Beverly Hills.
You're
Cop.
thinking of Beverly Hills Ninja.
Ah,
That's
a
the
good
sequel.
one, dude.
I have yet to see that. What is that?
That's with Chris Farley, where he was like, an orphan who was adopted by
A dojo of like ninjas,
and then
and
What?
then he
Came-
was sent to Beverly Hills, or there was a girl who came looking for like a ninja to hire, but he's not. He's like a fool, so he's not a real ninja.
it's a Happy Gilmore slapstick movie.
Yeah.
So.
So he ends up going to Beverly Hills and just like getting in trouble and saving the day, as Chris Farley, who is playing a ninja, would.
Yeah.
Exactly what you would expect.
Okay.
So Beverly Hills Cop, after his childhood buddy is murdered while visiting Detroit, can't have life in Detroit. Rebellious cop Axel Foley, played by Eddie Murphy, follows the leads to Beverly Hills, California, under the
Guys,
guise of vacation. That's
There you
not the
go.
word. I just don't want to pronounce it because he checks in with an old friend, Jenny Summers, and starts to believe her boss, art dealer Victor Maitland, might somehow be involved in the murder. However, Lieutenant of the Beverly Hills Police Department does not trust Foley and hinders his search for evidence. Came out in 1984.
nice.
Wow. I'm actually excited to see it because I've always heard about it, known it, but never seen it, so that should be fun.
Fuck word is that? Auspices?
Auspices.
Whatever the fuck that word is.
Yeah.
Huh.
Under the intention or whatever. Words.
Words.
I do have good elocution, but I'm not sure about that one.
We need a fucking thesaurus over here.
So be sure to watch that movie next week, and let's get into the static.
Roger that.
Welcome to the static.
All right, we're going to jump right into Gavan versus Wild this week. Last week, Gavan won with a W. A big W. Gavan took on a black bear, and Gavan won 60% to 40%. So that's a pretty good victory. Pretty good on you, bud.
Black bears are wusses.
I now have a bear rug.
Yeah, I now have a bear rug. And this week, we got a good one. We got one that I've been wanting to do forever, and Gavan can't stop me this time. Gavan's going to take on a chimpanzee. Woo!
Jesus Christ.
So I think it's just fair fight, you and the chimpanzee, just straight up.
I'm not surprised you say that.
I'll give you a Bowie knife.
A fucking Bowie knife. It will literally rip my hand off before
Swiss
I can do
Army
anything with
knife.
it. Fucking paperclip.
You're talking to someone who's seen every single Planet of the Apes movie, so let's
we should
refer to
know
the
that
expert.
Apes are fucking strong. Apes together.
But this one's a normal ape.
Did
Not
apes
a-
die in that movie?
You're not fighting
Which movie?
Caesar.
Any of them. Apes died in those movies, right?
Yeah, you want to know what they died to?
What?
Guns.
The
Give me an M16. Sure,
genetically
I will take on the chimp.
enhanced.
Give me a fucking 50
Chimps.
caliber, and I will take on the
Gosh,
chimp.
you had to bring up Planet of the Apes. I was just getting over Caesar.
Did you watch the original?
No, I'm going to watch it. Maybe not, though.
Cringe.
So what would be fair, Gavin?
What would be fair?
Spin your thing.
This is a chimp.
Spin your thing. So I was thinking,
I would need
Let's-
armor and a weapon.
let's baseball it up. I'll give you an umpire gear.
That is going to do
It's
nothing.
like the whole body armor.
Okay,
And then,
catcher's gear.
What the fuck is that going to do?
okay, catcher's gear and
That does nothing to stop me from getting my arm
baseball
ripped off.
bat.
That does nothing to stop me from getting my arm ripped off.
Here, I have these stats pulled up real
Don't be a
quick.
wuss, Gavin.
I have a.
I believe in you. I vote chimp.
I get a rubber band.
Yes.
Fair enough.
You're telling me you can't be a lesser evolved creature than you
So
That's
chimpanzees
physically
in one-on-one combat?
I get 3 Mike Tyson punches.
chimpanzees
Ooh,
on
I like that fight.
You can get a game breaker from NFL Street.
I don't know what that is.
chimpanzees are on average 100 pounds and can range anywhere between 3 to 6 feet. So we'll go right in the middle, which is 4, 5, 4.5.
Okay.
4, 5, 4.5. Damn it, dude. We are bad at math on this show.
We?
And it sucks.
Yeah, who the fuck? What are we speaking French?
Who's
we?
Who's we?
What the
No,
fuck
this
are you
happened
talking?
last week,
Dude,
too.
it says males can weigh up to like 130 pounds.
It says they weigh between 57 to 154, so I gave you 100.
The good boys get bananas, so yeah, they go way up to that.
How much does it cost? It costs like 50,000 to buy one.
You can
You can buy
a
one?
chimp.
Buy a chimp. Didn't you ever watch the Drake and Josh Christmas movie?
That was an orangutan.
All right,
was a
guys.
chimp.
Linked below. We're gonna
was
have
an
a
orangutan.
GoFundMe for a chimp.
Continue.
Was it an orangutan?
It was a chimp.
It was an orangutan.
If I'm right, you have to fight the chimp.
Okay.
Ethan versus Wild special. What's the debate here?
What type of monkey was on Drake and Josh?
This is a chimp.
Was it?
Ah, got him. Look at that. It's a
Uh,
chimp.
Are you showing a picture?
Wasn't it Bobo?
Watch the video.
Wasn't his name
See
like
the-
What is
Bobo
that?
the chimp
It's
or
the
something?
Drake and Josh movie. Christmas movie.
Drake and Josh Christmas movie. I was talking about the episode.
The hell out of here.
I
No.
don't think there was an episode with
There
the
is
monkey.
where the guy is gonna eat the orangutan.
What?
That's not what we were arguing. So
Drake and
Ethan now
Josh.
has to fight the
I
chimp.
don't recall this one.
You get no weapons and armor. I think you got a good shot.
Right here.
Me too.
Drake and Josh orangutan. Bobo is an orangutan. He appeared in My Dinner with Bobo.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I was right.
Drake has-
Bobo,
Drake has
but
him.
it was an orangutan.
It was an orangutan.
Yeah, Drake has him. I knew that. I just didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a baby one. It
Yeah.
had like boxers on, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Drake would hold it and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
So I was
I
right.
have no idea how they were able to sign on for that.
That's
That's
awesome.
cool. Well, they're really well trained.
It's
I was doubting the
fucking
fact.
monkey.
I was doubting
Orangutans are
orangutan.
Super smart.
I was
super
doubting
strong.
orangutan because I remember them being really big, and I was like, "How are they getting?" But it's a baby orangutan, so I was right. Gavin, you're
Also
fighting the
Also super strong.
you're fighting the chimp on your own.
The chimp is also like 100 pounds of
Bite
raw
power is 1300 psi. You have a bite power of 162.
Ooh.
muscle. Okay, so biting power I don't win that one.
But you have a bat. You don't need to bite it.
You have it
Why am I
has
using a fucking bat?
it has a poor sense of smell. Oh,
Am I gonna sniff the chimp before I beat the shit out of it?
Oh, you have better sight than it. Here's the defenses.
Is there just a straight up comparison
Yeah.
between chimps and humans on
Look, here's defenses. So for the chimp, it says they use their strong bite and fangs to subdue an opponent, and for humans, they have fight or flight response.
This is literally a weigh-in.
I don't know.
That's what it is. It even gives the weight. Humans can weigh.
And in this corner.
Humans can weigh.
Humans can weigh anywhere between 120 and 183.
Whoa.
What the fuck humans we to look? What humans you looking at? The fuck?
This was done in 1992.
I'll say
Offense-
you ever,
offense
what? We're
on-
using outdated.
Offensive
This
capabilities.
was 30 years ago.
He's just kidding.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm not even looking at it.
That's your word.
Offensive capabilities. Chimps use their strong muscles. They grapple, slam, and wrestle their victims to the ground.
What's the damage?
They kick, hit, stomp, pull on hair, and drag their victims. Okay.
Well, you have a bat, so you
Here's
won't
this.
get within range.
Humans' offensive capabilities. Humans can use their leverage of their bones to impart more force than they would be able to when their own muscular structure alone.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Like pile
like
driving
a punch?
somebody.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
mean like a punch or something.
Yeah, like punching.
Predatory behavior. Chimps high propensity for proactive aggression, and humans humans have a low propensity for reactive aggression.
Are you gonna look up the part where the chimpanzee has been known to tear off limbs from humans?
Let me see. The key factor in a fight between a chimpanzee and a human.
Or how about the one where the chimp tore off the face of that one woman? Remember that part?
That one woman. How many people have killed chimps though?
You didn't even
Gavin?
address the fact
A lot.
with a gun. No
Do
one's
you-
running up
do
to
you want a
chimp.
gun?
Yes.
No. How about this?
You fucker.
How about this, Gavin? I give you a Bowie knife.
I
You're gonna fight one of these things with
get
a Bowie knife.
I get a lightsaber.
You always want the biggest thing.
I want a lightsaber.
You know, I'm gonna expose you to the audience right now. I told you that this is off camera, off microphone,
Off record.
off record.
media.
that you won against the bear, and you said, "Oh yeah, that was easy. I should have won
with
that."
the weapons that I had.
So I'm tired of giving you
wanted
easy
to give me
stuff
like a
for you to
fucking-
feel like it's an easy win. I want it to be a battle. I want it to be a struggle. I want it to be a close fight.
It's going to be a close fight with anything that's not ranged and rapid fire.
I'll give you.
So you agree, Bowie knife is a close fight then?
No. Bowie knife, I'd probably lose instantly.
The chimp jumps. You have a knife. You stab it. You're in armor. You're fine. Bowie knife.
You act like the Bowie knife. You act like one stab is just going to be like, oh, I'm dead. And just jump off.
I'm gonna. You know what? This will be the experiment.
I make this joke every week. Gavin, you get a rocket launcher against this chimp.
Fuck yeah.
He says the same thing. every week. Gavin,
We should. I think we need to alter this a little bit.
What?
You for the wild, me for Gavin, and we debate. Because Gavin is clearly biased.
he's very biased. I think
Ethan's
that's fair.
biased.
I'm not biased. I'm trying to have a fair fight. I think
Yeah, the fight was unfair.
If
the
it
moment
was
you
me-
chose a chimp.
Your Honor, my client deserves a bigger Bowie knife.
I'll give you the one from Inglorious Bastards.
I'll
That's
take
a big Bowie knife.
I'll take a Bowie knife the size of a sword.
So you want a sword?
Your Honor, the defense rests.
I'll take
We're
a
gonna have
sword.
to convene.
Objection. Hearsay.
Gavin, what do you think about the big Bowie knife?
If it was me versus a chimp with a Bowie knife, I feel like I could take it.
I could take a chimp.
I don't think you
I
know-
could take a chimp straight up.
I don't know. I don't think you know what the fuck a chimp
Paul,
is at that
Paul
point.
can take a chimp blindfolded.
I don't think you know what a chimp is then.
Shout out, Paul.
I think you're thinking of a different animal.
I
know,
just
Gavin-
don't think you have that raw primal instinct in you.
You know, Gavin?
I
Here's
would if
this.
it came down to it, but
Here's
I
this.
just
You're kidnapped by the cartel.
It comes
Why-
down to it,
why would I
except you have a
take-
Bowie knife.
why-
Gavin,
fuck
you're
would I-
you're kidnapped by the cartel. They throw you in the forest, but you're like there's a bunch of people around. You're like Tarzan in an arena, and then there's a chimp, and they're like, here's your Bowie knife. Fight that chimp.
How great was that scene, though?
That scene was awesome in Tarzan.
Awesome.
I love that scene.
I've never. What are you talking about?
The one where he kills the leopard.
Never seen it.
Are you serious?
Mm.
Get out of town. Okay. Anyways, so your life depends on it.
Well,
You have no. You have no choice right now. Your life depends. You have to kill that chimp.
Wait, did I have
and
a
then they'll
choice on
send
the other ones?
No.
No, not really.
So what the fuck?
No, you don't have a choice right now. You can't argue it. Your life depends on fighting that chimp. You make an argument for the people so that they vote for you. Do it. Go. How
I
would
lose.
All right, then you lose.
Plain and simple.
Vote on this week's Gavin versus Wild, where Gavin takes on a chimpanzee with a
Both
Bowie knife.
options are chimpanzee.
Who wins? Chimpanzee or less strong chimpanzee?
Is the less strong chimpanzee smarter?
That means jack shit in a fucking fight like that.
Hmm,
You
clearly,
prep
you don't
time.
know about battle tactics.
Do I get prep time then?
Curious.
Can I get prep time? If you give me prep time, then I'll take the Bowie knife.
Do you know where a Bowie knife origin is from?
Yeah.
Killing chimps?
You ever watch-
Arkansas.
You ever watch the Punisher? It goes through the fucking whole spiel about what the Bowie knife was meant for.
Like with Jane or Thomas Jane?
John Travolta. Yeah. John Travolta was the main villain in that movie.
Are you talking about the movie The Punisher?
Yeah.
Oh.
He just named the Punisher.
John Travolta was in that movie?
He was the main villain.
I really don't remember.
Oh my
that.
god, you need to watch that movie. That fucking
Oh, I've
movie
seen
was-
it.
It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It sucks, but it was so funny.
When did that come out?
Like 2003, 2004,
No wonder I don't remember.
early 2000s.
2004. That's crazy.
It was in the Ghost Rider era.
God,
John
the
Travolta
Fantastic
was in
Four era.
that. Guys, John Travolta was in that movie. You heard it here first, folks. John Travolta was in the 2004 Punisher movie.
Wow. You
Wow.
heard it here first,
did I
folks.
just- John
There's a
Travolta-
2004 Punisher movie.
John Travolta versus the chimp.
No, it's you versus the chimp.
Okay.
All right, be sure to vote on our Instagram, OEF White Noise, for who you think is going to win. It's Gavin with a Bowie knife versus a chimpanzee. That's it.
Gavin wins. I pick Gavin.
I pick Gavin too. Gavin, if you don't win, then we'll start listening to your concerns when we come to the debate of what you have. Okay?
Okay.
Every time it's like Gavin wins, and he's like, yeah, I know, I should have, yeah.
Yeah,
of
I know.
course.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But then the one where you should have won with the 44 Magnum, you lost. You should have
That's
won.
because the animals I was fighting weren't like the only one that I'll say would have been like impossible for me to beat is like the tiger.
the
tiger-
one that you won.
Yeah.
The tiger I would have fucking died on. Like,
I don't know why.
the tiger is like the tiger and the hippo are the only two that I legitimately are and the chimp, but that I legitimately think I would have needed a fucking. gun
What's
to
the
beat.
other one you lost on?
The shark.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
The shark. I'm gonna say that every episode, dude. I'm gonna do a sticker of a shark.
Oh God. Okay, moving on.
We'll make T-shirts that say Sharkus.
Jesus.
Thanks, Anthony. Shout out Anthony. Anyways, The Punisher's 2 hours and 20 minutes, Gavin.
The Punisher what?
The Punisher's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I know. It's a fucking amazing 2 hours
I like it, though. All right, cool. So be sure to vote on our Instagram, OEF White Noise, Gavin with a Bowie knife versus a chimpanzee. You can vote on our Instagram, or you can vote on our YouTube in the comment section. And we'll make sure all votes are accounted for. With that being said...
Wait, I'm getting a big Bowie knife?
You're getting a Bowie knife.
Oh, sweet, yeah. I like a Bowie knife. I was looking up pictures of it. Totally thought of a different knife.
What knife were you thinking?
I don't want to say.
Like a pocket
Let's
knife?
just say I thought it was
Like
a
a
lot smaller.
switchblade?
Let's just say I thought it was a lot smaller.
A Bowie knife is huge.
Like the equivalent would be
So
like me
all
going
this
up against
time-
it with like a butter knife. And
All
I was
this
like, what?
time, when Paul has been saying all you need is a Bowie knife, you can take on any animal, you've been thinking of like a butter knife?
Not a butter knife per se, but something like around that caliber.
Like a switchblade?
Yeah.
Yeah? No, a Bowie knife is a good knife.
That's a knife. Like,
That's a
that
knife.
shit's big.
All right.
Shut up, Paul.
So a 14-inch Bowie, that's gonna hurt. Jesus Christ! If I can land the first hit, I win.
It's a short sword, bro.
Do you have a DaJakey Factuality for us?
Do. I'm prepared.
Prepared. Hey, Peter.
All right. Welcome to the DaJakey Factuality, where I give you all the facts of the day. Today's fact is, did you know that carrots were originally purple naturally in the wild? Carrots were grown purple.
What? The fuck out of here.
Source?
Yep, they were the
Source?
norm.
Yeah.
There were some offshoots, like, you got discoloration, whatever. There were some yellow ones, white ones that appeared in the wild over time. And in the 17th century, Dutch carrot growers managed to cultivate the yellow and the white ones to get the orange ones that we see today.
Thank you, Dutch. Dutch land? What fucking country is that?
Dutch.
Dutch?
Is it just Dutch?
Dutch.
Thank you, Dutch.
The German
They
area.
created a lot of cool shit.
Dutch Vanderland?
That's good.
Do you know the bananas originally have like seeds all over them? Like the ones in the wild do?
Nope.
You should look that up. Highly unappetizing.
Yum.
Did you know I tried a banana split for the first time? That's crazy, dude.
I don't know why I thought you meant like splits as in like the gymnastics splits.
No.
I
A
was like,
banana
huh?
split. A banana with vanilla ice cream?
Never happened.
Whoever thought of that is genius.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Yeah, Dairy Queen invented the banana split.
They invented all ice cream.
Oh, okay.
Hence, though, I did the Dairy Queen.
I did see a
Fuck.
fact the other day that's kind of makes sense, but when you think about it, it's, huh. Do you take it? It takes a raindrop 2 minutes to hit the ground.
Believe
Damn.
it.
Takes forever.
Like, yeah, like when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it's like, huh?
Hold
never,
on.
Never think about
How
it.
long does it take light to reach Earth? I thought it was also like something proportionally small.
Long time. Like from our sun?
Like if the sun producing light rays, right? How long does it take to reach Earth?
From our sun, right?
Yes.
A long time.
8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you mean to tell me that that raindrop is that?
Sunlight travels at the speed of light, naturally.
Okay.
Yes.
And from the surface of the sun, needed to travel across the vacuum of space to reach the surface of the Earth, 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, I expected it a lot longer than
No,
that.
I knew it was like super short. That's why when you said 2 minutes, I was like, what? Raindrops?
Well, raindrops don't move at the speed of light.
Well, they need to get good then. Skill issue.
Well, I mean, the sun is far.
Sun's like
But only a
100
6-minute difference?
100 miles.
100 million miles.
That's
yes.
what I meant. Yeah.
$1 billion.
So how long would it take to get there?
About 12. Maybe 3.
How long would it take to get to the sun?
I don't know.
Okay.
A long time.
Cool. So I hope you enjoyed all those various facts about space and nature. Be sure to follow our social medias once again. Subscribe to our YouTube at One-Eyed Fits, where we post the podcast in its audio form, and where our new podcast is going to be up there on video, and a bunch of other projects on the way. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out, and then follow our Instagram so that you get updated along the way. We have OEF Studios, which is just our main broad Instagram account. We have OEF White Noise, which is the Instagram for the White Noise podcast, and then the new one, the Old Fashioned Pod, which will be the Instagram for our new podcast. Appreciate your support. Be sure to leave a comment down below for a chance for it to be read live on air. It won't be live because this is pre-recorded, but you get the gist. And last week, we did have a comment from a good friend of the show, the legend himself, the Charcuterie legend. Give Gavan the Baraka arm blades with the 2 flintlocks. I got a question for Gavan. Here's your question, Gavan. What is your social security number? What is it?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't know if I want to disclose that. Let me rebuttal that with a different question, Anthony. If your credit card number turned into the amount of money in your bank, how rich would you be?
That's a good question. Wow. See?
Make sure to include the 3 magic numbers on the back and then the expiration date.
Yeah, so we know how long you have the money, and then
like
how
the 3 numbers help you get the money.
Yeah. So go ahead and leave a comment down below. Ask a question, and Gavan will answer it just like that. Isn't that wild?
What was your
technology?
First pet? What street did you grow up on?
What's your mother's maiden name?
What was your first girlfriend or boyfriend?
What city were you born in?
We appreciate you for listening. As always, thank you. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, follow our social medias. Once again, we appreciate you. We will see you next week. As of right now, we're going to go watch Planet of the Apes because those movies slap.
Monkey.